Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2025 Lexus LS500. Huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this sedan for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This LS is finished off in eminent white pearl metallic, and the MSRP start just over $80,000. Now this is powered by the 3.4 liter twin turbo V6. It's paired to the 10-speed automatic. It pumps out 416 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque. This model is rear-wheel drive, weighs in around 4,600 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds with a top speed of 136 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 21.7 gallons. You'll expect to see 18 miles per gallon in the city and 29 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 123 inches. Its overall length is 206.1. It has a width of 74.8, a height of 57.5, and its ground clearance measures in at 5.4 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling, this model has a really nice design to it, especially with all the chrome accents. I think it looks very nice paired with the white. Now, you'll notice the Lexus badge is also the sensor for distance pacing, and then with the hourglass design in the grille, there's also a few parking sensors and a lot of cutouts to provide additional cooling. You'll notice the entire surround for that grille is finished off in chrome. And then you'll also notice all the LEDs for the lighting, where there's a dark housing and that very iconic DRL design from Lexus. You'll notice too, from the hourglass points of the grille, those body lines work their way to the hood to blend it in very nicely. Now this model also has a very nice design for the multi-spoke wheels, which match nicely with all the chrome accents, as you will see more in the lower section of the doors there. It's also on the side mirrors, which have a turn signal and some gloss black accents. There's a sunroof up top, more chrome for all the window trim, and then some prominent lines that run down the side, giving it a nice sleek look. Now in back, there's LEDs for the lighting, there's a backup camera, all the parking sensors, and then some chrome trim accents surrounding the exhaust tips. Now, in order to gain access to the cargo space, you can just use this button over on the right side, and this has the power operating trunk, where for this model, this has a lot of cargo space. You'll notice there's some tie-down hooks as well, so you can safely secure items, and you do have this cutout here to gain access to the battery, along with a little bit of storage. So with those back seats up, you definitely have plenty of space, and then there's one button up top that you can use to close that trunk. Now you'll notice too, there's more chrome accents on the door handles. They are proximity door handles too, so you can just grab any door handle to lock and unlock this. And then take a look at this beautiful interior with all the Alcantara and leather. There's also some wood trim accents too, and you do get a little bit of storage in the lower section. And then you'll notice too, more of the tan for these seats, which have a great look to them. Now at 5'10", I have plenty of space. There's also storage pockets behind both front seats. There's vents in the middle along with an auxiliary down below. And at my height, I have about an inch or so of headroom, but these seats are very wide. They are comfortable to sit in. Now, it doesn't appear like the back seats fold down at all, but you do have some adjustments in the middle here where you have even more storage in the armrest with some auxiliaries, and you can even push on this button to control this front seat. Now, the vehicle does have to be on in order to do that, but you can get some better legroom if you are on that side. And there's also the rear sunshade, which you can put up and down by using that control. There's also cup holders that pop out of the end there. And then, like I mentioned earlier, these seats are fixed. So you have a good bit of space regardless of folding them down or not, but it's also going to keep the interior a lot more insulated too. And then you have these small cargo windows so you can easily see around that pillar. Now up front, you'll notice the memory seating adjustments. You can also adjust the front right seat by pushing on that control and then using the driver adjustments. So you have several ways you can move that seat. You have the floating grab handle design here with all the window controls and the side mirror adjustments, and then even more storage down below. And then the rest of the automatic adjustments for these seats, which have a nice luxury vibe and a look to them. So let's start this up, where this has a solid leather steering wheel. There's also paddle shifters on both sides, all of the cruise control settings, mode and tuning. And then on the left, there's volume, voice commands, Bluetooth controls, and then the arrows to go through this digital gauge cluster. So if I scroll to the left or the right, you'll notice 1, 2, and 3. Now these are all customizable settings, so if you hold on OK, you can actually go through all 3 of these depending on what you would like to see. So you can have 3 shortcuts basically for all this information, depending on what you want to view and how you want to have this set up. Very nice to have those. It's easy to go through and you have quite a lot of information. Now to the left, you'll notice in the FOURR section, there's a hood release, trunk release, fuel cap. There's also a little bit of storage and then a control for the head-up display. Now just by pushing on that, it will turn it on and off, where you'll notice that there's miles per hour along with what gear you're in. And then you can also view the steering assist and your lane keeping assist too. Now on both sides of the gauge cluster, you will notice on this left side, there's a control for traction control along with snow mode. So you can activate both of those as needed. And then on the right side, you have the different driving modes. So twist it down for Comfort or Eco. You can twist it up for Sport S and hold it for Sport S Plus, and then push on the end of it for Normal or Comfort. And you will notice the gauge cluster change slightly. Now with the infotainment system, you have a fixed clock on that left side, and then a good bit of information to go through. This system is going to be more beneficial when you have your phone paired, so you can go through all of that information and see it in full screen, but you do have some settings that you can go into and configure all of the general information as needed. Now there's air vents underneath that. There's also the e-brake, engine start stop, and all of the climate adjustments. So there's fan speed, temperature dials, you have power volume and tuning, a few other radio controls, and then underneath that there's auto hold, and if you push on this control, this is how you can get into the seat adjustments. So you just have to tap on them and you can go through all of these settings within the screen. Now you can use the physical buttons on the side of the seat, but you do have another way in order to access that. There's a few auxiliaries too. You'll notice cup holders on the passenger side, and then with this shifter, let's push it to the left and forward. It will go back into that middle position, but this is how you can look at the backup camera and adjust the guidelines. There's also drive, and then if you pull it straight back, that's for the manual setting, and park's located on the left. Now this also has heated and ventilated seats, and you will notice the heated steering wheel and that rear sunshade, which you can control from up front. You'll notice too that you have wireless charging for your phone, along with some auxiliaries and storage, and it's worth noting that you can open this up in 2 different directions. And then there's the locking glove box that has plenty of space. You'll notice more of the wood trim and an air vent. Garage door buttons are up top. There's the dome lights, sunglass holder, and then controls for the sunroof, as that is power operating. And then here's a look at visibility, where you have a lot of glass for this larger sedan. As we set up behind the wheel for the LS500, this is a model that I really don't see all that often. This is the second one I've ever filmed over the years of doing car reviews and checking out the Lexus models. Really unique model to see, because we have a 4-door sedan, but it's not performance oriented necessarily. You can get this with the F-Sport package on it, but this is mainly a luxury focused sedan. We have some pretty wide seats just to give you more of that couch feel. You have a lot of space for your backseat passengers with a few amenities and just a comfortable vehicle to drive. Now there's 3 different trim levels from what I've seen. We are in the base right now, which is rear wheel drive. You can opt for all wheel drive. You can go with the F Sport. There's also a hybrid model as well. So just depending on the drivetrain that you would like and the options that you would like to get, you have a few to choose from. Now what's interesting to see is that this has the 3.4 liter twin turbo engine, which we've seen in the Tundra and a few other models from Lexus. So if we put it into second gear here, we should have a good bit of power for this sedan. We have a good bit of power for this sedan. It's not loud either, and the shifts are very smooth. So this is a model where even in Sport S Plus, which I was in, you can't feel the upshifts, you can't feel the downshifts. This is that luxury couch to get up and move that you want to have that comfort in between the shifts. So they're pretty much non-existent, which is the goal of this model. As far as just driving it now, this is very nice. Like I said, the seats are super comfortable. The suspension is absorbing all of these bumps very well. I have a good bit of headroom too, about 2 or 3 inches, and this seat can still go further down. So you can be taller than me and still fit comfortably in this. I could see it being a fantastic daily driver. This is something that is well insulated, so it's going to be quiet and just give you that refined feeling drive from point A to point B. Now I will say, one downside and one positive is the back seats. The downside is you can't fold them down. The positive side is that it's going to give you more of those refinements, since it will be better insulated in the fact that they don't fold down. So it's a toss-up depending on what suits you best and what you are looking for out of your vehicle. With them up, however, you still have a good bit of space. So it is a practical sedan for the type of vehicle this is trying to be. As far as its handling goes too, just on some back roads here at a normal rate of speed, it's going to handle them well. If you opt for the F-Sport package, you will get the F-Sport tuned suspension. So it's not going to really be stiffer noticeably, but it's going to help handle cornering a little bit better. So if you're driving on back roads often, you may want to opt for that just to give you a better feeling vehicle. Not to say this won't take these turns well, but it'll just stiffen it up a little bit to give you some better handling characteristics. And in Sport S Plus second gear, here we go. And just like that, we're up to speed. And like I mentioned earlier, even taking some corners in this base model, it's going to handle these well for the type of driving you will be doing with this. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the LS500. This is a model that I've only been in twice so far over the years, so I don't think it's that popular from Lexus, but it's definitely a good option to go with if you're looking for a luxury-focused vehicle and you want the simplicity and the technology. So many brands today are going towards a million different options. You're having these large screens to go through. If you want something that is simple and effective, this Lexus is going to provide you with that. Now, from experience, what I can tell you with the gauge cluster, very similar to my 25 Toyota Tacoma in terms of going through the information. I love it. I have different settings for towing, daily driving, off-roading, different vehicle, of course, but you can go through and set up information like that, and then it's mainly just pairing your phone to this system and you are good to go. So in a world where vehicles are getting stuffed with technology, this gives you everything that you need and nothing more. So it's very nice with all the tech features, the simplicity, and the refinements of it. I think it's a great option to compete with some of those other brands, and you have something that will be reliable and fairly easy to maintain and keep out on the road. But definitely a nice place to be. Now, with the driving modes too, it will change the throttle response. So just depending on how you feel like driving, not a huge difference, but even if you go into comfort or eco, just by holding it down, you're going to feel a difference in eco, but it's a luxury vehicle at the end of the day. So you'll get a little bit of response, but nothing significant with this. But you have the options to do that if needed. Now, one thing with this LS500 as well is its overall length. So in terms of its maneuverability, we might be able to do this without backing up. If I swing it a little wide, there's no rear wheel steering, but look at this turning radius. That is extremely impressive. I've been on that turn with some larger vehicles that couldn't do that. So very nice to see. And that is going to wrap it up for the 2025 Lexus LS500. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I'll see you all in the next video.